It's been about 3 days since I poured the Batwing soap, so today we are going to cut them, we're going to bevel them, we're going to do a ton of stuff. The very first step is to put this giant loaf in the freezer for about 1 to 2 hours. This makes the demolding and cutting process much easier. All of my soaps have olive oil, coconut oil, castor oil, jojoba oil, and pumpkin seed oil. Because of the amount of light oils that I use, like the jojoba and pumpkin seed, the bars tend to be soft for longer, so I found that freezing them before cutting makes this process so much smoother. If you don't believe me, just go back to a couple of my videos before I started freezing my loaf molds in advance, and you can see the huge difference of how sticky and hard they are to cut. Once I get it out of the mold, I place it on my soap cutter here, and you'll notice that cutting each bar about 1 inch, that's just my preference. Everybody's preference is different. These particular bars have an exfoliant. They have coffee grounds in them. So because of the coffee grounds, it is take a little bit more push to get them cut. But either way, soap cutter, amazing thing to cut soap with. I highly recommend it over a soap knife. It gets straight lines. It makes the process much smoother. Next thing that I always recommend you soap makers do when you're using a soap cutter is you'll notice I use my thumb to push the wire all the way through the soap. So you'll notice that it doesn't necessarily get all the way to the bottom. Typically, you do need to push it. And if you try and pull the bar without pushing the wire all the way down, it will make this weird kind of hanger hook in the bottom of your soap. To do soap making is a process, and overall it just takes a long time to master the skill. So there's a lot that I've learned over the years to make great soap bars and to make this process so much easier on myself. But once these are cut, we do have to do the next couple of steps in the same day. So the same day we have to do beveling and stamping. Beveling and stamping are both, I would say, optional to most soap makers, but making handmade soap is an art, and it's very important that you have a signature of some kind on your artwork. I have had so many people steal my designs on Instagram and post pictures, and they're actually mine, but I didn't stamp the bars, so that's why I stamp them now with my logo, so there's no way to kind of dispute whose it is. Once the bars are cut, we go ahead and bevel them. Now, you can use a lot of different things for this. They have a soap beveling box that you can use a potato peeler. You could even use like your finger if you want, just kind of like smooth the side. The point of beveling is to make the bars more presentable and easier to use. This helps with packaging, especially if you're going to be shrink wrapping the bars, because otherwise they will have a sharp 90-degree angle on every single corner, and using these bars will actually be very uncomfortable. Trust me, I've done it. The first 1 or 2 times, once you get that over with, the bars kind of smooth down on the edges. But again, you can just bevel off those edges. It just saves a step. Now, all of these little strings here that you see that I'm accumulating after scraping off each bar, these do not go to waste. So there are something that I love to make. They're called recycle bars. Once you get enough of these little scraps, you essentially make a big soap bar, and you only make half of the soap mix you would typically make, and you use the shavings to fill the bar, and it makes this a really cool design. It's very unique. It's different every time. So nothing in this whole process goes to waste. I always get comments on my beveling videos about the waste that this makes, or that people think that it makes, which again, I will of course explain to you guys. These can always be reused. They are still soap. Now, once each bar is beveled how you like it, again, the amount of beveling you want to do is totally up to you. I just like a small little sharp line off so that the bar is still intact. The next thing you're going to do is use a soap stamp. Now, I got this one custom made with my logo and my soap business name. Obviously, as somebody uses this bar, this logo will go away after like 2 or 3 uses. But it's very important so that somebody doesn't steal your work and claim it as their own. It also helps with branding, all that kind of stuff when you're a business owner. If you don't have the money to purchase a soap stamp, I would say they average about $20 to $30 for the stamp itself. That's totally fine, but I would recommend that you put a watermark over your photos. So in the middle of your soap bar in each picture, I would recommend that you write like your Instagram handle, your name, the name of your business, something so that somebody cannot steal that picture. Another soap maker that her designs get stolen all the time are Royalty Soaps. People steal the designs that she makes on YouTube, and then some people even go so far as to take her actual pictures and advertise them as something else. This is just the best surefire way to avoid this. Again, it looks amazing. It looks great. It's just an added like 2 to 3 seconds to each bar, and it makes it very personal as well. And I just go in and do this on each one of my bars. See, some of my older ones don't have this stamp, but now they all do.